topic that I'm going to tackle is romance. But first, let's talk about my shirt. There's ruffles on it. I don't wear ruffles. Also, it's red and white. I feel like a candy striper. Not too sure what I was thinking when I bought this. What is romance? I asked people on my Facebook and my Twitter what they thought romance was to them, and the answers were very different. But the most convoluted answer came from a Mr. Jobo Pooks, who said, romance is a state of grace wherein the contrasts are cast aside and only pure love unfolds. That sounds really pretty. But if anybody knows what he was talking about, could you please explain it to me in the comments, because I'm a little stumped. Now, I actually talked to a few of my friends in regards to this subject. Two of those ladies are Missy and Noelle. Now, Missy said that when she thought about romance, she automatically jumped to flowers and gifts and chocolates and those silly little things, but that she actually thinks that romance is a lot deeper than that. She thinks that the root of romance is making somebody feel special. Well, Noelle says that romance is in the little things. Gestures, sentimental gifts, surprises, things that let the other person know that you understand them and you care about them. Now, what both of them really seem to be saying is that romance isn't about what you do, it's the feelings behind what you do. Which made me think, are all romantic gestures romance? See, I don't think they are. A lot of romantic gestures could technically have ulterior motives behind them. People might do them to say they're sorry about something, if they want something in return, like getting out of a dinner that they don't want to go to. One of the most common ones, if they want to bed down with somebody. See, that isn't romance to me, that's no-mance. As in, no, you're not getting anywhere with those gestures, because your motives behind them are completely diluted. I believe romance doesn't have those other motives. That people are doing them because they want to make the person feel good. Now, the thing about romance, in my opinion, which I have found, is that it often fades. The more time you spend with somebody, it's almost like the less you think about them. They become this permanent fixture in your life, and in a lot of ways, you take them for granted. To me, that is where relationships start to break down. When you stop considering the other person. There's a lot of reasons why romance fades. Bills, the monotony of life, kids, jobs, stress. And I actually think it's one of the hardest things to hold on to. Now, for me personally, romance isn't about things. Romance is when somebody just lights you up. Romance can be as simple as looking across the room and catching sight of the person that you love, and they're actually looking at you. Or when you tell them something and they actually hear you as opposed to just nod and listen. But it really got me thinking about things that could be done in the name of romance that would really make me swoon, I guess is the word. Now, I came up with two things. One, for somebody to sit down and actually write me a letter. Do people write letters anymore? And the second thing that would just knock me on my ass is if somebody I fancied adored my writing. For some reason, I long to have somebody who wants to read what I write, who's interested in what I write. Now, this whole thing really got me on the subject of how romance has evolved. And is it less common than it used to be? Part of me wants to blame technology. I know it's the easy thing to do, but the reason for that is because it seems like technology has killed the written word. Having somebody sit down and send me a romantic text message or a sweet post on my Facebook wall, it just seems wrong. And this makes me think, are IDAs, internet displays of affection, an acceptable form of romance? I don't know. In some regards, they're not personal enough, and you also have to wonder how much thought actually went into them. I wonder if we can trace this back to feminism. Oh, don't be like that. I think when feminism came along and women were striving to become equals, certain things were lost in the mix, like chivalry. I've seen women get mad at men who hold the door for them. I like the door being held for me. I like my chair to be pushed in. But I also suffer from fierce independent woman syndrome. I think I can do anything for myself. And like my mom said, guys, they like to be needed. Or I always thought wanting a guy should be enough, and that I shouldn't have to need him. But apparently I was wrong. Okay, so what have we learned? Romance, it still exists, but it's just not on the grander scale that it used to be. It's not as common. 2, it does fade in relationships. And if you're lucky enough to have a relationship where that romance still thrives, good for you, because that's a feat all in itself. 3, romance is different for everybody. Number 4, IDAs are not an acceptable form of romance. I guess I'm afforded the luxury of contemplating what romance is because I'm not out there in the world making it. I'm in here thinking about it. Now I'm going to wrap this up with telling you what the Urban Dictionary says romance is. Romance is dead. It was acquired in a hostile takeover by Hallmark and Disney, homogenized, and sold off piece by piece to us. Thank you, Urban Dictionary, for yet another Amazing definition. Well, that's it, my little lovebirds. I'll see you all again next week for another edition of That Girl Tyson.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations, all hands man your battle stations.
So somebody asked if I could give a cheeky wink at the end of my vlog. I don't think I can wink cheekily. Cheekily. I don't think I can wink with this eye. And I don't think I can do it. This is just silly. There will be no cheeky winking. Cheeky winking? That sounds dirty.